So today we will start our next unit, share capital and debenture, and here we will discuss chapter 4 of the Companies Act 2013 from the provision section 43 up to section 72, along with those provisions, and here also not every provision, only the relevant one, and along with that certain definition clauses also we will discuss. But before, I want to tell you that the last class we were discussing, and Abhishek has asked that, sir, section 26 subsection 7 has been omitted in that case, and then I purchased new Bear Act, the latest one up to the 2021 amendment. Okay, and this in this new Bear Act I have found that earlier the requirement for the prospectus to be get registered, okay, but there now under section 26 subsection 4 etc. you will find that the word registered has been replaced with the word filing. Okay, so now it has, the prospectus has not to be registered, and when it has not to be registered by the registrar, so there is no question whether he would register it or would not register it. It's now the simply the filing, the filing of the prospectus. Okay, and so in that effect section 26(7) has been omitted, because now it is redundant when the filing is only there, registration is not there, so there is no the deliberation by the registrar on that particular aspect. Then in the section 26(9) also, the with respect to the penalty, the imprisonment portion has been removed, only the civil punishment is there. Then there is another thing that was in my mind, that maybe some student has developed, that how these preventive measures that you have talked will related to misleading or misrepresentation in the prospectus, because when you read section 26(4) etc., it's not saying in that respect. Even the penalty, when you read, it's only saying that the compliance of the section 26(1). So basically, suppose the SEBI has issued the regulation that these are the some information that has to be disclosed, and that with the idea, with the purpose, so that the public get the genuine information with respect to the affairs of the company. But suppose the person has deliberately or maybe sometime inadvertently has missed some of those information, so the effect of that would be like the misleading or the misrepresentation. And in that aspect I have said the that measures with respect to the prospectus under the section 26. Otherwise only the exact word is written in the section 34, 35 etc. Okay, so is it clarified, or should we ask some other things from our earlier chapter? Others, sir, okay, let me, sir, there is any possibility of offline exam in the semester? Others, we will discuss after the class this thing. Okay, now to the next chapter. This is the share capital and debenture. Here also only the concept, different terms we have to understand. There is nothing conceptual about it, and no cases has been provided that we have to discuss here. Certainly if some for particular point we need some case, I will cite those cases. And this particular topic is very small, maybe in 2 classes we will try to finish it. And from the examination point of view also, it's not that much important, but maybe some one person has to be attached. From the practical understanding, it's really very important topic. Certain terms that generally used in the corporate law, or as the persons from the corporate background, so must understand what is the meaning of them and how it has to be dealt with. So first, three important thing we will discuss. The first is capital, then share, and third one is the debenture. Okay, so capital, different types of the capital, then what is share, different types of the share, then what is debenture, and different types of the debenture, or etc. First, about the capital. The word we listen the share capital, and here we will discuss about 7 types of the capital. The one is the share capital, the second one is authorized capital, the third one is the issued capital, the fourth one is the subscribed capital, the fifth one is the called up capital, the sixth one is the paid up capital, and the seventh one is the reserve capital. These words you will find many times used in the Companies Act 2013, or as in the company law. And some of words has been defined under the definition section. Some of the words have been defined under some other provisions, and to some words we understand by inferring different sections. So the first I am taking about the share capital. Here the share capital, see when you read memorandum of association, there also you will find this word share capital. When you read section 284, there also you will find the word share capital. So what is the meaning of the word share capital? When you read section 284, there the word share capital has been used, and it is used in just give me 1 second, in the definition of share. Section 284, that share means a share in the share capital of the company and includes stock. So share means shares in the share capital. And so the question is that what is then the share capital? Share capital is not the precondition for registration of the company. Maybe the company have the share capital, or it's not that always the company should have the share capital, but most of the companies have the share capital. And here when we discuss, we read section 4. In the section 4, in the section 4 also there is subsection 1, section 4, subsection 1 and clause E, that in case the company have the share capital. So what is the meaning of the share capital? The share capital means in relation to a limited company by the shares. The word share capital in term of the rupees is specified the number of the share of the fixed amount each. So share capital is the total capital that the company can have, and then this capital is divided into the equal portions. Each portion is known as the share in that respect. And so a share means a share in the capital of the company. A person then who hold the share is known as the shareholder, and therefore holds or portion of the company's capital. But the shareholder therefore hold a portion of the company, but in the eyes of law not the part owner of the undertaking. Okay, so here the share capital is basically the capital with which a company is registered in case of limited company, and then this share capital is at the time of registration is divided into some equal portions, and that equal portion is known as the share. So this definition we have inferred partly from section 4 subsection 1e and then section 284. Now come to the second types of the capital is the authorized capital. Section 2(8), when we read section 2(8), section 2 clause 8 says, basically today I am taking the help of this new act, because what I have downloaded is very old act and there are many confusion. So then you complain, sir ये तो provision repeal हो गया. So I just took this new ones from here also. So here Abhishek, can you read this authorized capital section 2(8)?
Sure, sir. Section 2 subsection 8, authorized capital or nominal capital means such capital as been authorized by the memorandum of a company to be the maximum amount of share capital of the company.
Yes. So the authorized capital, or you can say even the nominal capital, is that capital that that capital that is authorized by the memorandum of the company. Okay, and this authorization indicates that this is the maximum amount of the share capital to which shares can be sold out. Now here question comes, sir, अगर ये maximum amount है तो फिर क्या difference है share capital में और इस authorized capital में? Sometime some portion is reserve, okay, so that reserve capital का भी जो concept है, and so the authorized capital is that capital that is authorized by the memorandum of association, to which that is the maximum capital that can be of a company, the maximum amount of the share capital that can be through the public offer or the private placement can be sold out. Then the third one is about the issued capital, and the issued capital is the word issued, as it suggests that is issued by the initial public offer or subsequent public offer. So issued capital is the capital which is issued through any offer to the any allottees is known as the issued capital. Authorized capital, issued capital or other capital, all are arises or all actually have the source from the share capital only. Then suppose there are 100 rupees was the this share capital, and out of 100 rupees only 90 were authorized to be through the shares etc. can be sold out, and in that 90 rupees only 40, and suppose each share is 1 rupees, 40,000 is already issued through any public offering. So this 40 rupees, so this 40 is the issued capital. Then when a company go for public offer, initial public offer or subsequent public offer, it shows the amount that the number of the the securities that is for that is for sale, and if that the amount of the shares, amount of the securities is not there, like in the red herring prospectus we have heard, so that would not be perfect prospectus. And in that suppose rest of the 50 is as the example we have taken, rest 50 rupees share capital, that means 50 shares put for public offer. In that 50 shares, it's not that always all the shares will be sold out, maybe out of 50 only 40 will sold out or only 30 will sold out. So the amount that is subscribed by the allottees is known as the subscription capital. So the fourth one is the subscribed capital. If the offer of the issue is made to the public, the whole of it may not be taken up. The part of the issued capital which has been allotted to the subscribed capital is known as the subscribed capital. Then the fifth one is called up capital, and the called up capital is suppose if the allotment is done, it's not necessary that at that time the full payment of the share has to be paid to the company. So sometime there may be the unpaid amount, and then when this unpaid amount is called up to be paid, it is known as the called up capital. So at that time it is used as the called up capital. So called up capital, we can define: the company need not immediate call up the whole amount. The called up capital means such part of the capital which has been called for the payment. And section 2 subsection 15 defined this called up capital. Abhishek, please read section 2:15.
Section 2 subsection 15 called up capital means such part of the capital which has been called for payment.
Yes. So this is from the subscribed capital. From the subscribed capital, the the portion of the capital which is called for the payment, that now you have to make the payment. Maybe at the once you have not need all the payment at once, and suppose you have issued 40 shares, 20 shares money you need, and when you called that 20 shares holder have pay their money, the full amount of the their shares. So the the capital that would be the called up for that would be known as the called up capital. Then the sixth one is the paid up capital, and paid up capital is means the aggregate amount of money credited as the paid up, as is equivalent to the amount received as the paid up in respect of share issued, and also include any amount credited as paid up in respect of shares of the company, but does not include other amount received in respect of shares by whatever name. And this word also has been defined under your Companies Act. Just section 264, section 264, paid up share capital or share paid up capital. Yes, Abhishek, read this paid up share capital.
Paid up share capital or share capital paid up means such aggregate amount of money credited as paid up as is equivalent to the amount received as paid up in respect of shares issued, and also includes any amount credited as paid up in respect of shares of the company, but does not include any other amount received in respect of such shares by whatever name called.
Okay. So when the amount of the shares, that unpaid payment is called up, in that case the shareholders will pay that unpaid amount, and through that unpaid amount whatever amount is received is known as the paid up paid up share capital. So the paid up share capital is the aggregate amount up to that date. What is the paid up capital? To a particular date, it is the relevant terms to that particular date. How many shares has been allotted, and from that shares, those shares, how much amount has been aggregately collected is known as the paid up capital, that it already has been paid by the shareholders. Then the last one, seventh one, is the reserve capital, and it says that the uncalled capital of a company can be converted into the reserve capital by passing the special resolution. The company may declare that a portion or whole of its uncalled capital shall not be called except in the event of the winding up of the company, and such capital cannot be converted except with the leave of the court. It cannot be charged with director. Thus, where a company issued debenture charging its undertaking, including the uncalled capital, it held that the charge was not operating. So basically, the uncalled capital, the rest amount that has not been called by the company because company does not require it, that money can also be converted into the reserve capital. But what is reserve capital? The reserve capital is that only called when at the time of the winding up. Okay, and on that amount, on that capital, even the charge cannot be created. So this is just used as a buffer. At the time of winding up, the persons who has not paid their full amount of their share, they has to paid at the time of winding up. And the basic purpose of the reserve capital is to keep such capital that may be necessary, that may be helpful at the time of winding up. Now we quickly understand all these terms again. See, the share capital is basically the total amount of the capital that is mentioned, and accordingly it has to be registered. This share capital a limited company is registered is then divided into the equal shares, and each portion of the share capital is known as the shares. And in the memorandum, the maximum capital that is authorized for the subscription is known as the authorized capital. Then a company when issued certain numbers of the shares, certain number of the shares, or you can say share capital, or certain number of the shares by which the amount is credited to the company is known as the issued capital. Then when the company make the public offer, and the in that public offer, the number of the shares that is subscribed, and through that the capital that is created is known as the subscribed capital. And it's not necessary that at the subscription all amount has to be paid by the shareholder. So at any time when the company need money, so through the allotee they called that they have to make the whole payment of the share. So through that payment, when money is received to the company, that is known as the called up capital. And the total amount, the aggregate amount of the money that is received through the shares is known as the share, the paid up capital or share paid up capital. And the uncalled amount that is reserved by the company is that would be effected, that would be called only at the time of winding up, is known as the reserve capital. On the reserve capital, even the charge cannot be created even by the directors, but only with the leave of the court it is possible. So these are the different terms that is used with respect to the capital of the company, and these are the somehow related terms. It's not in the abstract, you can understand these terms. Okay, any question from this portion about the capital of the company? Yes, any question? Yes, Abhishek.
सर जैसे हर तरीके के शेयर कैपिटल डिफाइंड है, लेकिन शेयर कैपिटल की एक सर अलग से डेफिनेशन नहीं है सर हम लोगों के कंपनीज एक्ट में।
See, basically share capital, is the amount by which company is registered. Okay, definition तो नहीं है, you are right, because that is not, but you can infer only with section 284 read with section 41E. तो वहाँ से आप इन्फर कर सकते हो कि ये वो अमाउंट है जिसके साथ आप एक कंपनी को रजिस्टर करते हो, ठीक है, और उसमें आपको एक कैपिटल बतानी पड़ेगी, बिकॉज फॉर रनिंग एनी कंपनी यू नीड टू थिंग्स, वन इज़ द लेबर, अनदर इज़ द कैपिटल। फिर उस कैपिटल के से को इक्वल पोर्शन में डिवाइड करना। सपोज आपने 1 लाख की शेयर कैपिटल रखी, ओके, एंड यू डिवाइडेड दैट 1 लाख इंटू 1 लाख पोर्शन, सो एक शेयर की फेस वैल्यू 1 रुपीज़ हो गई, ओके। और उसके बाद में जब भी आपको ज़रूरत पड़ेगी तो आप उसके शेयर्स को जो है मार्केट में पब्लिक ऑफ़र के थ्रू उसको सब्सक्रिप्शन के लिए रखोगे, और फिर वो लोग उसके वैल्यू जो है उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो उसको परचेज करते हैं, कंपनी विल गेट द मनी, ओके। तो शेयर कैपिटल की वहाँ से तो एक डायरेक्ट डेफिनेशन तो नहीं है, ओनली फ्रॉम दीज 2 पॉइंट्स वी कैन इन्फर। चले आगे। Abhishek? Now the second thing that I have said is shares, or in singular share. What is the meaning of the word share? The word share, as in the common parlance we can understand the portion in the capital, or the portion in capital means the company, which portion you have. So this portion also determine the dividend, the profit that would be made. According to share, the profit will be shared. Suppose you have out of 100 share, if you have the 50 shares, so your profit will also be 50. So what is share? Section 284 defines share, that share is the share is only the portion in the share capital. So as we said that the share capital has to be divided in equal portion, the each portion would be known as the share, okay. And then it says that it also includes stocks. So maybe after clubbing to shares or dividing shares, the stocks is created, so that stock will also cover here. A person who hold is known as the shareholder, and if the two persons are holding the jointly holding one share, so these two persons will be treated one persons for the voting right, and the voting right would be according to the the shares, how the director is elected, etc., that is through the voting. Then come to the section 43 that define the different kinds of the shares: equity share and the preferential share. Equity shares means the share that is have the same voting right, have no preference. And the preferential share is as the name suggesting, is giving some preference with respect to the some issues. So what are those? We have to see section 43. Section 43 says the share capital of the company limited by shares shall be of two kinds. One is equity share capital. See, this capital word is always used with respect to the shares, because through the shares the money would be collected by the company, and that's why when it is paid up or the subscribed, etc., every time we use this capital. So this equity share capital, maybe accordingly you will define that the money that is collected through the equity share, through the selling of the equity share, is known as the equity share capital. Section 43 clause A, that equity share capital, one with voting right or 2 with differential rights as to dividend, voting or otherwise in accordance with such rule as may be prescribed. And the second one is the preferential share capital. So from here we can learn that there are the two types of the shares. One is the equity share, another is the preferential share. There are other types of the share also, bonus shares, sweat equity shares, etc. Those definition, those words also we would like to we will define. So here what is the equity shares? There in the explanation it says that equity share capital with reference to company limited by shares means all shares which are not preferential. So here they have not defined that what is equity share, but rather they have said that all share other than the preferential. That means if you exclude the preferential shares you can get the equity shares. So that means the preferential share definition is important, and if we find out that a particular share is the preferential share, then that means it would not be equity share. But if that share is not the preferential share, then it means it is equity share. So relative definition they have, the legislature has been provided here. And what is preferential share capital? Here in the explanation 2, with reference to any company limited by shares means the part of the issued share capital of the company which carries or would carry the preferential right, as I said, and the preferential right first with respect to the payment of the dividend. So generally, the rule is, suppose the company has earned 100 rupees and the company has 100 shares. So this profit will be divided among these 100 shares, 1 rupees per share, and the person, any person who was holding the number of the shares will accordingly get the money. Okay. So this is general rule. But in case of the preferential shares, the amount will goes to the preferential shares. So in that case, it's not that equally it is distributed. It's not like that. Okay. So it says that the payment of dividend either as the fixed amount. Suppose at the time of the subscription, it is decided that this is the fixed amount they will get each year. So that amount has to be given. Suppose in our earlier example, in out of 100 rupees there are 10 preferential share, and there is a fixed amount that 2 rupees each has to be given to the preferential shareholders. So 2 into 10, 20 rupees first reduced to these preferential shareholder, and then out of 80 rupees 19 shareholder has to be settled. Okay. So the payment of dividend either as a fixed amount or an amount calculated at the fixed rate. So it may be that the amount of the dividend has to be predetermined either by the rate or by the amount itself, which may be either free or subject to the income tax. हो सकता है उन पे income tax के according उनके करने के बाद में हो या उससे पहले. So whatever the permutation combination is there, that has to be settled. Then the repayment in case of winding up or repayment of capital of the amount of the share capital paid up or deemed to have been paid up, whether or not there is preferential right to the payment of any fixed premium or any fixed scale specified in the memorandum or article of the company. So first condition is about the dividend, second condition is about the repayment in case of winding up. ओके. सो रीपेमेंट के लिए भी उनके प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट हो और डिविडेंड के लिए भी हो. ओके. देन द एक्सप्लेनेशन 3 सेज दैट कैपिटल शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी प्रेफरेंशियल शेयर. दिस इज द डीमिंग प्रोविजन. ए लीगल फिक्शन इज क्रिएटेड that when for the preferential the capital means any capital that is collected by allotment of the preferential share. And what is the preferential share? Means any share for which there is the preference is given at the time of the payment of the dividend, either at the fixed rate or at the fixed amount or at the repayment. But then explanation 3 saying that even beyond this also some shares would be treated as the preferential share, and the capital would be known as the preferential capital. So this is explanation 3. Capital shall be deemed to be preferential capital, notwithstanding that it is entitled to either or both of the following rights, namely that in respect of dividend, in addition to the preferential right to the amount specified in clause A of the clause 2, subclause A of clause 2, it has a right to participate, whether fully or limited extent, with the capital not entitled to the preferential right. So if with in respect of, in addition of the preferential right that is specified in subclause A of the clause 2, it has the right to participate. The right to participate is also there. In that case, that it would be treated as the preferential share. Second is that in respect of capital, in addition to the preferential right to the repayment on winding up of the amount specified in subclause B of clause 2, it has the right to participate, whether fully or to the limited extent, with the capital not entitled to that preferential right in any surplus which remain after the entire capital has been paid up. So even after the entire capital is paid up, there is the right of participation, either fully or to the limited extent. So that portion would also be treated as the preferential capital. Now there is another term is about the sweat equity share. Sweat, we the pasina जिसको हम बोलते हैं. And so basically the sweat equity shares are issued by the company to its employees when they see that they are working very good. Sometime through the policy they issue some shares to their employees also, and that is known as the sweat equity share. To section 88 defines sweat equity share, and section 288, Abhishek, you read it.
Yes, sir. Section 2, subsection 88, sweat equity shares means such equity shares as are issued by a company to its directors or employees at a discount or for consideration other than cash, for providing their know-how or making available rights in nature of intellectual property rights or value addition, or whatever is called.
Yes. So it's saying that other than the money, if the shares are issued, that may be by the company to its director or the employees. So it is issued to the person who is related to the company, and that is on the person has provided or the employees at discount or for the consideration other than the cash. So other than the cash may be their know how, any technology, any procedure, any trade secret they know. So on that, or making available right in the nature of intellectual property they have had, or value addition. So anything that these director or the employees they have done to the towards the company for the profit benefit of the company, providing an intellectual property right, know how, or any other available right or any other value addition, then the shares are issued other than the cash are known as the sweat equity shares. Okay. Then there is another type of the share, and that I'm trying to find that also. that is known as the bonus share. So sometime bonus shares are also issued, and the basic idea as the bonus you think you can understand. So the bonus share means that एडिशन कोई भी किसी भी तरह का एडिशनल शेयर दैट गिवन टू द करंट शेयर होल्डर and without any additional the cash or any additional cost is known as the bonus share. So these are the four types of the share. Basically two important type, equity and the preferential share, because whether the SWAT equity share or the bonus share would be there, that either would be equity share or the preferential share. So like we discussed the public company and the private company, and in that public company private company may be one person company, or maybe two or more than two person company. So similarly here the basic category is two types, equity share and the preferential share. Equity shares, from the preferential share we can gather the information, because as per explanation the equity share means that share that is not preferential, so the requirement of the preferential would not apply. So in the case of equity share, the profit of the company will be divided equally. That means each shareholder will get the equal dividend. It would not be on any fixed amount, it would be as per the money company has earned in that particular financial year. At the time of winding up the repayment that is made to the company, suppose the company has wound up, and at that time the company after paying all its liabilities, there is the 100 crore rupees remained, and there are only 100 equity shareholders. So it would be divided equally between those shareholders. Then the preferential share, it means that have the preferential right, one with respect to dividend and another with respect to the repayment. So dividend when is to be paid, either it is already been decided that at this fixed rate whether the company would make less money or the more less profit or more profit, at the same rate the dividend has to be paid, or maybe the fixed amount is like it, when we talk about guarantee through the shares, or guarantee limited by guarantee or limited by shares. So similarly here maybe a fixed rate like on the 2%, or maybe at the fixed rate like the 20 rupees or 20,000 rupees, accordingly जैसा भी हो वो कर सकते हैं. And the second is repayment में भी उनका preferential treatment होगा. So when the preferential treatment is there with respect to the shares, now the question arise that why then company issue this type of the shares. See, sometime company need is in the dire need of money, and then company requires some money. Equity shares maybe person are not getting because they have the fear that maybe the company will not get the profit and they will not get any dividend, and at the time of winding up also the amount they have contributed, that would be the taken for settlement in the winding up. And so some person says that I only give money, only purchase your shares if you have any preferential treatment. So in that case the preferential shares were given the rights that is attached with these shares, and that is only the condition when the company issue the preferential share. Otherwise no one will take this type of the burden, this type of the uh, liability that every time at the fixed rate they have to given the profit. Okay, then the next is bonus share. Sometime maybe when the company is getting much profit, so instead of giving the profit, or maybe with the profit also the company issues some more shares also to its to the shareholders, and the additional amount of shares that is allotted to the already shareholders without any extra amount is known as the bonus share, and the sweat equity shares is issued to the directors or to the employees at maybe at the discount, and with the services they have provided, know-how, intellectual property, or any value addition services that increase or that in any way give the profit to the company, so that in that case the shares issued to its employees or director is known as the sweat equity share. So in the next class we will discuss debenture and the debenture capital. If you have any question with respect to today's discussion, you please ask me.